Adobe just created an app where we can generate 3D objects, or we can bring our own 3D objects in and we can position them, size them, put them at the exact angle we want so we can generate our own vision rather than generating what the AI wants to generate. There's a lot to unearth here. Let's have a look at the new Adobe Substance 3D viewer. So we're going to be using the Substance 3D viewer to generate 3D. So you can get this from your Creative Cloud app. You'll see it at the top or you'll see it at the bottom on Windows, and then choose Apps, select Beta, and then you'll see Substance there and just click on Install. Once you've done that, you'll have the Substance viewer. So there's a few different things I'm going to show you. Now, we can also integrate this with Photoshop, but I'm going to do that in a completely different tutorial, probably next week. Why don't we just jump into the prompts here? Okay, so here we are inside the prompt window, and let's start with something pretty simple. So why don't we generate a 3D model, text to 3D, and we're going to do telephone. Well, let's change that to rotary telephone. All right, that's more like what we want. Okay, so here's the beauty of this. If I right drag, I can move this around wherever I want. If I middle drag, I can reposition this. I can use the scroll wheel to just kind of tumble it, which is going to do the same thing as we're doing here with the right button. And then the other option is we can go under the view settings and we can change the field of view to make it close or far. So we can scale it, position it, and angle it exactly how we want. So this is where the beauty is. It might not be a great 3D model, but it's a perfect model to tell it what we want and exactly where we want. So watch this. So now if we use this model that we created and we do 3D model to image, and we're going to type in phone on a wooden desk, and then under the options, we've got 3 options here. We're going to generate a new image. Now we can use all kinds of different filters, but we'll keep it simple for this tutorial. And then we're going to hit generate. We get 4 variations, and notice how it's keeping the position, the angle, and everything we want. Now these might not be exactly what we want for phones. They're kind of interesting, but maybe we'll do a plastic phone on wooden desk. And hit generate. Okay, now we're starting to get somewhere. Now notice this is staying very strict to the shape. I can take this down a little bit, and it's still going to use the angle and the sizing and everything, but now it's going to let the AI vary a little bit from the 3D model that we used. All right, these maybe we should have. All right, these are some interesting variations. Maybe we shouldn't have given it so much creative freedom. Let's pull it up a little bit. All right, there we go. But definitely getting somewhere where this could be useful. All right, we can go beyond this though. We could bring in our own 3D models. Let's go back to the files. And I'm going to open a file. And let's go for a 3D model that I created inside of Blender. So this is an airplane I'm building. It's not finished yet, but don't save. And it's going to bring it in. All right, so here's a model I'm working on. And so let's do the same thing. Let's position it. And we're going to scale it, do all the fun stuff we were doing before. So I can use my model here, and we can build off this. Now I can texture it, and maybe we'll just drop a quick texture just so you can kind of see what you could do. Maybe let's do carbon fiber, I don't know, just so we can kind of, get something that looks, I don't know, maybe slightly different. So this is just a quick look at the materials. We'll dig into that in the next tutorial, but let's go down to back to the scene. So right now we've got our canvas size there. Let's make sure it fits within there. So let's just grab this, and we're going to make it just a little smaller so the whole plane fits in there. So we're going to take this actual model that we imported, that I built, and then we're going to make an image out of it. Okay, so airplane at airfield. And what we're going to do is let's do the generate a new image just to show you. And once again, you could do some things with some style and effects, and you could get a lot more variety, but we're not going to do that right now. All right, there we go. So it's created an airplane, basically at the same angle and everything as mine. Maybe a slightly weird angle. All right, so the thing is, if you don't like that angle, we just close that out, and let's bring it up a little bit. Let's get a better angle. Now we can generate again. There we go. That looks better. So I'm honestly going to say these image generations are not fantastic just yet. Maybe if I give it a little bit more freedom, let's see if we can get a better result. Maybe a little bit of an improvement. It's still obviously got a long way to go as far as the quality. And then let's look at the other options. So this is going to apply new textures and contours to my 3D model. All right, so I'm starting to see a use for things that, maybe I could generate objects that I could use for compositing. So why don't we try a simpler object maybe rather than the airplane that I created? So these are some I got from Adobe. So why don't we try a toaster? And I'm not going to save that. All right, so here we go. We've got a model here of a toaster. And we're not going to worry about texturing or anything. Let's just go down to the 3D model. 3D model to image. Toaster on kitchen counter, and let's generate it as an image first. Okay. And it seems to be doing a better job of these more simple objects. And let's see if we were going to generate from composite scene. So this is using the 3D model now. You can see that's truer to the 3D model. And let's look at the other option here, generate a new look for the model. So it's going to change this model a little bit and have it isolated for compositing. All right. So it's basically texturing this for us. This is pretty good. So I would say watch this space. I wouldn't say the quality here is production ready yet. But it's definitely going in a very interesting direction, which is actually going to enable us to bring our own vision, bring our own creativity, and then use the AI to help us generate the level of work that we really want. And we can do it from generating entire images or just generating small objects that we can use in our composites, like maybe creating props and different things like that. So I'm curious. Let me know your thoughts underneath in the comments. And if you're new, welcome to the cafe. Hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications. You won't miss any of my videos. And until next time, I'll see you at the cafe.